Welcome back to normal baseball. The Mets walked off the Yankees in the Subway Series. There was a questionable call in Houston involving runners' interference, and the Cardinals might be dead in the water. A lot more in addition to that, but welcome back to normal baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And we should just start with what might have been one of the best games last night. The best game last night, probably one of the best games all season. Subway Series. Mets Yankees. We were in the house. We were in Flushing. And it was a hell of a game. I think that might be one of my favorite games I've ever been to. The Mets did win 4-3. So both teams took a game in this Subway Series. Both games were really close. I'd say it was one of the better Subway Series that I've seen in recent memory. It was very low scoring, 4-3 rather. Justin Verlander versus Garrett Cole. Verlander went 6 innings, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. Garrett Cole went 6 innings, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. So it was very much a pitcher's duel up to that point. A couple other fun stuff happened that we'll talk about in a second. But overall, really great game. And in the 10th inning, they went into the 10th at 3-3 tie. Obviously, you get the runner on second. Brandon Nimmo hits a double in the bottom of the 10th, and the Mets walk it off and win 4-3. So, I mean, what a game.
What a game indeed.
Crazy game.
Being in the house, first off, was amazing. I think that's now my 4th Yankees-Mets game, or my 3rd. And every time it amazes me just how split the crowd is, how you can never tell, if a call's safe or out because everyone's always cheering about something. It's a lot of fun to be at and definitely a great game. And we can jump right into a little bit of a recap of it. What did you notice about the game that made you so excited?
Well, okay, obviously there was one moment in the game that was my favorite part of probably, or second favorite part of any baseball game I've ever seen. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa stole home in this game. It was I want to say top of the 6th, it was top of the 7th. IKF is on third. Eduardo Escobar is standing right next to third base, and IKF is dancing off. And I thought to myself, I was like, he's getting awfully far off that bag. He got about halfway down the line, and he just kept going. And Brooks Raley threw it away, and he stole home. It was probably one of the most incredible things I've ever seen with my own eyes at a baseball game. That and the Trey Turner Grand Slam in the World Baseball Classic, it just two of my favorite moments I've ever seen live at a baseball game. It was insane. Especially me, I felt like I knew it was about to happen. He was on third. It was like first pitch. He was dancing off. He was halfway down the line, and I'm like, if they throw over, they're not getting him. I'm thinking that in my head. And he just kept shuffling away and just ran. I was in disbelief. I mean, how much were we screaming and yelling? It was insane. Congrats to IKF for that, because that is crazy. First Yankee to steal home since 2016. But did not end out well for the Yankees. The Mets took this one 4-3. Overall, it seems like both of these teams are in kind of a low, but that made it a good series.
Yeah, both teams, even though they were missing their stars, were still on an even playing field. Which is what made it so entertaining, especially that second game where it kind of felt like one of the biggest problems that the Mets have had all season is missing out on having a good bullpen. And the Yankees, who have had one of the best bullpens in baseball in the second game, don't have their guys of Clay Holmes, Michael King, Wandy Peralta come into the game. They're kind of relying on the funky bunch of the group to get through what was a very, very good game up until the point of seeing the Mets bullpen come in and, kind of missing the zone and not really pitching as well as JV did. And it kind of happened with the Yankees too. The Yankees bullpen not pitching as well as Garrett Cole did is what made it so entertaining. It made it a back and forth game, and of course there were some base running mistakes, there were some errors, there was everything that you could have wanted in this game.
It really made no sense what the Yankees were doing in this game because they had an off day on Monday, so rest day. And in game 1, they used Clay Holmes, Michael King, and Wandy Peralta. But in game 2, Boone said they were all available. No one was injured, but they just didn't use them.
Yeah.
Which just makes absolutely no sense to me. You're bringing in, Albert Abreu, while yes, he did do good. He did have a very good outing. He didn't give up any hits, 2 strikeouts. He had a good outing. Not the guy you want to see. And Nick Ramirez in the 9th inning. He's been good, but he's only pitched 11 innings this season. Mm-hmm. Bring in Mike King. Bring in Clay Holmes. This is the 10th inning of a game that you absolutely have to win. And it's not even a have to win because they're playing the Mets. That has nothing to do with it. It's mostly because up to this point, the Yankees are still 9 games back of first place. They're in a wild card spot, but only by 1 game. They need to be winning as many games as possible, and right now they're just not doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was not a great managed bullpen game from the Yankees, which you would expect the exact opposite. You would expect the Mets bullpen to be the one that's gonna blow the game, which they did evidently because the Mets had the lead up to that point. But it was just a little unfortunate for the Yankees. And as for the Mets, you always take your wins, especially a walk-off win against the Yankees. But they did still fall back half a game yesterday because the Braves won twice. The Braves swept their doubleheader with the Tigers. Ronald Acuna Jr. homered in both games.
Yeah,
he's a monster.
Cool. He's pretty cool.
But yeah, Subway Series.
Yeah, but if you do, like you just said, flip over to the other side of the coin, of course they do lose out on half a game because the Braves got postponed from, I believe that was Tuesday, in Detroit, so they had to play a doubleheader yesterday. I still think it's a success to go in and say, yes, we won a scrappy game against the Yankees. Sure, it would have been nice if either team swept, right, for no matter what it would have been nice for their positioning in the standings and blah, blah, blah. But to win a scrappy game like that where it's very clear that a lot of your guys offensively and in the bullpen are not able to contribute is a very big and good sign for the Mets. Hopefully they kind of snowball it a little bit into some more success, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, we'll see. They play the Cardinals this weekend, so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, I don't know. The Mets still have a lot of work to do. They're 10 games back, but at the same time, the Yankees also have a lot of work to do. They're 9 games back. They're just in different positions. The Yankees are 9 games over 500, and the Mets are 4 games under 500. So they're in different positions, but they still both have a lot of work to do if they want to come close to winning their division. So we'll see. We'll see what the Mets can do. My question is, for this Subway Series, which team is better?
Hell if I know. It would have been nice to see both teams at full strength, both teams firing on all cylinders, missing out on Pete Alonso and Aaron Judge. The hole was there. They had Francisco Lindor batting in the 4-hole for the Mets. I believe it was DJ LeMahieu batting in the 4-hole for the Yankees with Giancarlo Stanton batting second, where we would usually see Aaron Judge. Just, I cannot answer that question. I have to wait till they go to play a 2-game set at Yankee Stadium to see.
Well, Josh Donaldson hit third, so that tells you most of what you need to know because that's ridiculous. Really critical situation there in I believe it was the 9th. Maybe it was top 10. They just walked Stanton to get to Donaldson because the Yankees ran out of bench. So you have to pitch to Donaldson, and Donaldson's been horrible. So, it is what it is. In terms of who I think is better, again, similar to what you said, I would have loved to see this series with Aaron Judge and Pete Alonso playing. Because those two guys kind of make their team go. Yeah. Those are the two personalities of the teams. It is very unfortunate that both of those guys are out, and I hope that come when they face in July, both of them are back, and we get to see a more, I want to say more fun, because Aaron Judge and Pete Alonso are both very fun players. Don't get me wrong, this was a very fun series, but if you add those two to the mix, I feel like these games would have won a lot differently.
Yeah, and there would be a lot more souvenirs headed out into the stands.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, in terms of who I think is better, I'm going to stay neutral. Because the Mets have, yes, underperformed, but their team is still really good. Their bullpen actually decently held it down last night. Yeah. You know, besides the Brooks Raley implosion, the 7th inning implosion, they held it down. So, I don't know. Obviously, you want to lean Yankees because record and just play overall this year. But once I see a matchup, like you said, with Aaron Judge and Pete Alonso, then I'll be able to tell you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's fair. And, you know, maybe Rodon winds up pitching in July. We get to see, imagine Cole pitches game 1, Rodon pitches game 2. It lines up with Scherzer and Verlander again.
That would be fun.
That would be the best scenario. Mm-hmm. Have their 2 best pitchers go against the Yankees' 2 best pitchers, and then everyone healthy, dogfight in Yankee Stadium. Show it to me. Show it to me. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And, like I said, probably 2 of the best games I've seen all season. Just close games, just nerves were going, and it was fun.
Yeah. And, of course, Citi Field absolutely bumping. It gets loud in there. Even without all the planes flying overhead, it gets really loud there, and it was just a lot of fun. Just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Subway Series is one of the best events to go to during a baseball season.
Yeah, I mean, Garrett Cole said after the game that he felt like it was a playoff game.
It was.
I mean, it felt...
Think about it. There are friend groups that guys get bragging rights for now...
no one does now.
Yeah, I know. Let's just say the Mets won both games or the Yankees won both games. Then we'd be talking about how a lot of people get bragging rights for almost a month and a half. If the Yankees won both games, they would get bragging rights for a month and a half. That second series is the most important one because that gives you bragging rights for almost a whole year in terms of who wins that series. So we'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of fun.
Little 2-game series. Can't say I'm too much of a fan of 2-game series, especially between these 2 teams, but it is what it is. Moving on. Actually, before we move on, if you're still watching, make sure to subscribe, comment, and like the video, and share if you enjoy. Moving on. Astros. Nationals had a little situation last night. World Series 2021 rematch. Or rather, 2019 rematch, my fault. 2019 World Series rematch. The Astros had a 4-1 lead heading into the 9th inning. And then the Nationals went on to score 3 unearned runs. A lot of errors. And tied the game. And then the bottom of the 9th, this is where it gets a little fun. The Astros had the bases loaded with 1 out. And Jake Meyers hit a ground ball to C.J. Abrams. Obviously, the runner from third is coming home. You have to. C.J. Abrams gets the out at home, gets the force out at home. And Keeper Ruiz throws it down to first to try to get the double play, because, you know, that makes sense. And the ball hits Jake Meyers in the helmet, goes away, and the Astros score another run and walk it off. The real question in the situation was it runner's interference? Because Jake Meyers, from the moment he hit the ball, hit the ball on the ground, he never ran in the baseline. Not once. He always ran on the inside of the baselines, which means on the field, inside the diamond, which obviously, by rule, is not allowed. The official rule, I believe, is if a runner is on the inside of the foul line while a ball is being fielded and thrown to first, they're out. And it is an umpire judgment call to the fact of would the fielder have had a chance to catch the ball and make the out. And the ball hit Jake Meyers in the helmet while Michael Chavis was about to catch it.
Yeah.
So therefore, it should have been called runner's interference. Jake Meyers should have been out, and the game should have went to extra innings. But it didn't. The umpires didn't even talk to each other about it, and they just said, game over, Astros win. And Davey Martinez was livid, which I can't blame him. If you see the video, Jake Meyers was not in the baseline at all, which is not legal, not allowed. And they just didn't seem to care. Davey Martinez, I don't know if you saw the post-game press conference he had. He went out to the printer and printed out a picture of Jake Meyers running out of the base path, and he brought it to his post-game press conference, and he was like, "I'm sick of this. I'm absolutely sick of this," which makes sense. I mean, I understand that it might have been a little tough call, but the umpires could have gotten together and looked at it.
Oh yeah, I feel like after seeing the situation unfold in real time, it's definitely not something that you're just like, okay, game over, I want to go home. Especially when the game is that close, you have to go to an official review and check, was he in the base path the entire time? Because I guarantee you that there was someone in the lead offices who watches the replays who was saying, oh, I don't know, we might have to go back and review it, but they didn't even think about reviewing it, which I think was pretty stupid. All in all, though, do I think that it really changed the outcome of the game? Like, I mean, yes, in the moment, were the Astros still going to win that game? I think so.
But no, that's not a fair thing to say whatsoever.
No,
because
I'm not saying that that's what what they did was right. I'm just saying.
But I don't think that's even a statement that can be made. I'd argue. I really don't think that is even an arguable thing, because that would have been the last out of the inning. The inning would have been over. Then you go into the 10th inning. Each team has a runner on second to start the inning, and the Nationals scored 3 runs in the inning prior. So you really can't even say who would have won that game, regardless, because at that point it would have been anyone's game going into extras.
Yeah, I guess so. But
you can say, yeah, the Astros are the better team.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But you still never know. I mean, up to that point, it was a tie game going into the 10th inning. It would have been. So, that's all I'm saying. I still think Meyers was way out of the baseline. I think it was the wrong call from the umpires. Should have been out. And you got to fix it. And I agree with Davey Martinez full. Because in Houston, in the 2019 World Series, Trey Turner got a runner's interference called on him, and he was out.
Yeah.
And then this doesn't happen. I did see something, though, however, that the umpire wasn't really in position because he had to make sure the force out was gotten. So he was kind of standing over here instead of standing here where he can look right down the line. So you don't really know at that point. But that just goes right back to the thing where you say, Review it, yeah. Review it.
You review things like that, for sure, especially in such a tight game. You have to go to an official review. It's BS that essentially they were waiting for a challenge. Like, that's not how that works. That's not what would have happened.
No, it doesn't make any sense. You can't actually challenge that. You can't challenge that play.
Yeah.
It's umpire judgment call, so you can't challenge it. It's ridiculous because he was well in the baseline. I think Chavis would have caught it if he was in the baseline. Sure, it would have been a little close, but he would have caught it, and the game would have went to extras. I think it's ridiculous.
I completely agree.
But hopefully we don't see any more ump show moments like that.
The ump show's always going.
The ump show always runs, unfortunately, because imagine no ump show.
What a world.
All right. Before we get into our little last topic, I want to just give a shout out to Jesus Sanchez real quick. I don't know if you saw.
The Grand Slam robbery.
He robbed the Grand Slam last night. The Marlins were up 4-0, and he robbed the Grand Slam. That would have tied the game, I believe, in the 9th inning. And the Marlins won 4-1. It was crazy. White Sox beat the Dodgers. They came back. That was kind of crazy as well.
Cool. Jake Berger is just on an absolute home run tear.
That's what I said. I said, what's up with Jake? As soon as he hit that home run, I was like, what's up with Jake Berger hitting home runs? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Clayton Kershaw pitched again, and it's hard not to appreciate him.
Yeah.
Of course.
The A's winning streak is officially over. The Rays beat them 6-3 last night, but it was a good run. Maybe they'll actually start to string together some wins.
Yep. Philly got back to 500. beating the Diamondbacks for the second day in a row.
Yeah, they have one more game today, too, so see what happens there.
Padres, their big guys all went yard yesterday.
Yeah, Nando,
really cool.
Soto, Nelson Cruz, Machado. Machado went yard? Oh, okay.
Yes, he did. In a 5-0 victory over the Guardians, which was pretty cool.
But one of the games that I want to talk about is the Cardinals and the Giants.
Oh, wait, and one more thing.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Reds have officially been declared America's team.
And the Royals have officially been declared the worst team in baseball.
That too.
The Royals, very sneakily, I feel like the Royals are the worst team in baseball, 18-50.
It is not sneakable.
And Vinny Pasquantino is out for the season.
Yep, and Salvador Perez left yesterday's game after getting hit in the hand with a hit by pitch. They're going for x-rays today, and I really hope that we do not hear that Salvador Perez has anything wrong with him and he can return to the field as soon as possible.
Yeah, so not only are the Royals the worst team in baseball, but they're also guys are getting injured a lot. So, sucks for them. But do you want to talk about the Cardinals and the Giants, or do you want me to talk about it? I know you have a lot to say, so I think I'll let you talk about it. Tell us about the St. Louis Cardinals versus the San Francisco Giants yesterday.
Okay. It was 5-3 Cardinals going into the 7th inning. Into the 8th inning. Both teams put up zeros. Into the 9th we go. 5-3 Cardinals, by the way. In the top of the 9th, the San Francisco Giants come out and score 2 runs, tying up the game and forcing the game, if the Cardinals did not score in the bottom of the 9th, into extra innings. The bottom of the 9th for the Cardinals was strikeout, fly out, sending us into the 10th inning, where the San Francisco Giants simply did not hold back. They started off with Michael Conforto pinch hitting. Michael Conforto came in to hit. He pinch hit his last at-bat where he strikes out, and everyone's thinking, okay, well, maybe that's a good sign. Then we have a single and a stolen base, a single, strikeout, another single, and just before you can even blink, essentially, the Giants put up 3 more runs in the top of the 10th. Cardinals absolutely implode, leading to yet another loss. The bullpen just did not do what it was supposed to do. Giovanni Gallegos letting up 2 earned runs, and Steven Matz letting up 3 runs, with 2 of them being earned. Horrible look for the Cardinals. Just absolutely horrible look. I think after that loss, I think it's safe that we might be able to pronounce them dead. They might be the first team eliminated from playoff contention.
Well, they might not be the first team eliminated from playoff contention, but yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling the Cardinals at all. A couple weeks ago, they started to get hot. A little bit hot. They won like 7. They were 7-3 in their last 10, or like 8-2 in their last 10. But now they just feel dead and deflated again. That top of the 10th inning, 5-5. Thairo Estrada single, Wilmer Flores single, Lamont Wade Jr. single. That scored 3 runs. Just not really what you want. Like, you bring in Steven Matz in the 10th inning of a tie game. Like, what are you thinking realistically about that? What do you think is about to happen? You're about to go into a 12-inning game, or like 15-inning game, and you're going to need Steven Matz to pitch like 5 innings.
And I think that just shows how depleted this Cardinals team is. They're bringing in these, no offense to Steven Matz, he's probably a little bit better than you.
I don't think so. I could have done what he did yesterday.
I think bringing in a guy who has nearly a 6 ERA, who has yet to record a win over the course of 57 innings pitched, is
he's been in the bullpen.
Not the best idea.
He's been in the bullpen, so a win's not really the craziest thing.
He started too. He started a couple games.
Not many, but a win's not that crazy. But I agree. It's just the wrong move. Thairo singles, steals second. By the way, I just love Thairo Estrada this season. He's been amazing.
Of course.
But it's horrible for the Cardinals. Horrible look. I want to officially declare them out. What do we want? How do we want to do this? What do we want to say when we think a team is officially gone?
They're dead in the water. They're a sinking ship, and everyone's trying to get the hell off of it. They're still 3rd in attendance in the National League somehow, and I think that's because they should be an exciting team.
Well, not somehow. It's St. Louis. It's a big baseball market.
Yeah, but
it makes sense. I mean, people are still going to go to the games. They're not athletics bad.
I would rather go to an athletics team than a Cardinals team.
No, you wouldn't. That's recency bias. Recency bias.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Recency bias.
No, it's not. Ask me in 3 months, I'll say the same thing.
Recency bias. If I asked you that 2 months ago, you would not have said that.
Absolutely not.
You picked them to win the World Series.
I did. And
that's not looking like a great pick
it's
right
been embarrassing so far.
That's not a great pick.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, I just want to look at some of their stats as a team right now, because I feel like
I don't really know if you want to do that. It's pretty bad.
No, that's exactly why I want to look, actually. So, as far as hitting goes, they're 16th in average, 14th in on-base percentage, 12th in OPS. Their starting pitching is 22nd in ERA, 27th in WHIP, 25th in K per 9, 30th in hits per 9, and their relief pitchers are 19th in ERA, 22nd in WHIP, 25th in walks per 9. They actually strike a lot of guys out, but again, if you're giving up hits and runs, it doesn't really matter at that point. I feel like who's underperforming in this lineup? Is Nolan Arenado still? No, Nolan Arenado's picked it up. Paul Goldschmidt is, a little worse than last season, but last season was a crazy MVP season.
Yeah.
It's really just Wilson Contreras now that I look at it. Paul DeJong, he's actually been pretty. Yes, he's batting .225, but he's been pretty pleasantly surprising. I feel like he's hit a lot more home runs than I feel like anyone would have thought at the beginning of the season.
As well as a couple other guys in the outfield, with not having Tyler O'Neill and Lars Nootbaar, Alec Burleson, and Dylan Carlson, both guys who have definitely been underperforming for a lineup that we thought going into the season would be a surefire playoff team at bare minimum, especially after adding a guy like Wilson Contreras, who they've put him back at catcher. He's been, fooling around a little bit more there. He's still batting under 200. His OPS plus is still only a 75. He needs something to change. He needs to pick something up, because it's embarrassing that the Cardinals went out and they added to a team that just made the playoffs, that barring running into the Philadelphia Phillies would probably have made some sort of run, would have had some sort of noise in the playoffs, and now they are nowhere near a playoff position this season so far. And we're about halfway through.
I wonder when Nootbaar and Tyler O'Neill are supposed to come back. I'm actually kind of interested in that. But yeah, I think missing those two guys is big. Helsley just went down with a forearm injury, which is not a good sign whatsoever.
No.
It's very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Hopefully they could turn around, because like you said, if the Phillies didn't exist, or if the expanded playoffs didn't exist, the Cardinals might have made a really nice run last season. So you don't just lose all that in one season, especially when not much of their team actually, changed as far as the pitching side, because the pitching side is what's really been letting them down. So Cardinals figured it out. What else do we have? What else do we really want to talk about that happened yesterday? Couple series. The Twins won another game, so they're over 500. So at least one team in the AL Central is over 500 because they suck.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a look at a couple good pitching matchups today? So June 15th, Thursday. What do we have? No. Oh, it's Ohtani versus Eovaldi today.
That'll be a fun one.
I believe the Rangers and Angels. This is the game to see who. It's either win the series if you're the Angels, or tie the series if you're the Rangers, right? Because Angels won the first two, Rangers won last night.
Marcus Stroman's going for the Cubs against the Pirates. That'll be fun.
Marcus Stroman going, yeah, that's always fun.
Taj Bradley and Paul Blackburn in the Rays Athletic series that I feel like will never end.
Yeah, that series is forever. Nationals, Astros, Mackenzie Gore versus Christian Javier.
Yeah.
It's a good matchup. And
Dylan Cease is going tonight for the White Sox in Dodgerland.
I'm interested to watch Michael Grove go against Dylan Cease because Grove has been not good. Yeah. So I'm interested to see what he can do against the White Sox. And Blue Jays Orioles, always a good game to watch as well.
Yeah. I think the game I'll be watching tonight is definitely going to be Angels and Rangers.
All right.
You know, two AL West teams that have high hopes for themselves right now going into this game against what could be considered two of the best pitchers in the American League so far this season. You know, definitely within that top 5 range in my opinion. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yep. All right. Well, that should be it. I think we're good. Thank you guys for listening, watching, viewing, subscribing, commenting, sharing. That is, if you liked what you heard, let us know what you want us to talk about tomorrow or what you think about what we talked about today. Do you think that Jake Meyers was runner's interference? What do you think the call should have been? What do you think should have happened? Who's better, the Mets or the Yankees? Fight in the comments about that one. And
please fight in the comments.
And we will see you guys tomorrow. A peace. And let me tell you about baseball.